So there I have a lovely card that could be used for either a wedding card or an anniversary or just a just because to somebody you love. I'll show you what we're using. From our Mini Expressions range, I have the new Love die. It's a big bold die, it looks great. And I've paired that up with the Big Ideas clear stamp set. So I have the Love, and then we're going to use the You Always with it. Doing a bit of accenting our floral elements with the curly fern. I'm using the petal pocket flowers. Now these are really unique in that they fold up to make this beautiful flower. It's so easy too, I'll show you that. And we're going to be using the Ava die from the Frames and Tag, but just the inside piece right here. And I'm going to make a nice little frame for that piece with the double stitched rectangles. This is the original size. Okay, let's pop all these to the back. There we go. Okay, so what I've gone ahead and done is I've cut the center of the Ava frame, this piece right here. Isn't that pretty? Now, rather than using the cutting edge with it, I've just given a little bit of a wider edge around it because we're going to do some framing with that. So I've just used the center piece. Cut that out of coconut white card, and I've covered a piece of blush card with a sticky adhesive sheet. And I'll just share with you the size on that. It is 2.5 by just 3 5/8. Okay, so I'm going to just peel off the backing piece on that. I'm going to put the Ava die cut right over the top of it. And I'm going to just use this and rub it down, get it nice and adhered. Okay. I'm going to bring in a piece of copy paper and some frosted sparkle glitter bits. I've got just something, a little bit something right there. Let me just see if I can get that off. There we go, that'll work. So I'm going to use some frosted sparkle glitter bits over the top of this. We're going to burnish that in. There we go. And pop this back into our container. We'll show you the real pretty glitter on that. Isn't that lovely? That Glitterbitz has got 3 sizes of particle in there, so you really do pick up a lot of the light. It reflects it beautifully. Okay, so now what I want to do is cover that with a frame. So I've taken the, let's see, I believe it's this one here. Yes, I've gone ahead and cut it, and it is number 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th one from the center in that set. And I've gone ahead and cut the outer edge of that, and I've used the inside cutting edge on this Ava set to cut the center. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that right over. I've got some mounting foam on it. Let me make sure I've got all my glitter away. There we go. Center that right over it. That looks pretty good. So I've got a beautiful set there. And you can add some pearls to the center of those flowers. In fact, I think I'll do that. Let's just pop a couple on there. Just really finishes these off. There. Oops. Love the way the pearls finish off the flowers. I think it's so pretty. And one more. There we go. That should do it. Okay. So now I've gone ahead and I've stamped the You Always just about where I think it will go. I'm going to put a little bit of mounting foam on the back of this. Let's pop that down. And one on either side. That right up here, sort of centered along the edge there. Okay, I've done the Love in the pale pink and the blush and with the black, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of spray on the back of this and we will shadow it. That will really bring that out against the white background. Let me pop this into place, and I'll give you a quick measurement on the card. I'm going to offset that just a little bit above the "you always." Give that a second to set up. That right, oh, oops, I'll tell you what, I'm going to add a little bit of glue. We're going to make sure that's nice and stuck down. It seems to want to move around with just the spray glue. There we go. Like that. There we go. I'm going to give you a quick measurement on the overall on the card before I forget. The piece I've stamped is actually 7 inches by 5 inches, and the overall size on the card is 8.5 by 6.5. Okay, so now what I want to do is accent this corner, this big lovely corner with my flowers. So I've gone ahead and done a few, but what I want to show you is this is what the pocket petals look like when they're cut. Now this is the largest one. It's got a stitch detail, and then there's a little bit of a fold line here. So what you need to do is just fold it away, go around, and it just will fold up. When you get to the last two, you're going to have to sort of do a little bit of a pick it up and fold it under, and pick it up and fold it under. There you go. So you have a flower that looks like that from the top. Now I always glue these into place. I've got one I've done earlier. So I just put a little bit of glue under each of those petals to stick it flat, okay? So I want to bring in a bit of ink on it. I'm using some sponge sugar. So I'm just going to go around the edge and just pick up a little bit of that edge on each of these flowers. And then just do the top corners. There we go. So I have a tiny bit of color coming through with those. And the other part of this die set is you've got a couple little centers. Now this is for the larger one, and you can double these up for the smaller ones. So I've done this in blush. I'm going to add a bit of glue to the back here. And we're going to pop that right into the center of that flower. Just give it a second to sort of set up. There we go. Got a really nice little flower there. So what I want to do is bring in some glue dots, and I'm going to just seat them onto a satin bow. So I've got a satin bow I've tied out of some really thin ribbon. I'm going to put that right into the corner and bring these pieces in. There we go. Put the larger one there. And put this second one over here and bring this smaller one in, put it a little bit up to the top. Okay, so now what I want to do is bring in some of the curly ferns, and I've cut several of these, and we're just going to sort of pop them in and around, but we can do a little bit of what I call layering up and sort of giving them some texture or some dimension by folding them up a little bit. You can trim them down if they're too long. Tuck them under about like that, and I think I'll take a smaller piece of it for on this side. Put that going right under that flower, and a smaller piece in the center. So you can cut them and use whatever sort of section you want on them. Put those about like that. So it really does fill up that corner nicely. I'm going to put that one right underneath there. And I've also gone ahead and cut some of the flowers from the pocket petals. So I've got those. I'm going to just add a bit of glue. And I put two of them together. And I've got different sizes here we can use. So on the smaller one, put a couple flowers or a couple leaves in there. I'm going to pop some underneath here, sort of sticking out just right under the corner there. A couple on here. I like that combination of different textures with the curly fern and then the leaves coming out, and they've got a fairly long little base on them, so you can trim that off if you want something a bit shorter. Just gives you the option. I'm going to put one right under there. There we go. Really love the way that fills up that corner. I think that's such a pretty card. I think anybody would love to have something like this for a wedding keepsake or an anniversary, don't you? I hope you've enjoyed the video. Look for us on our YouTube channel. Don't forget, you need to comment, like and subscribe.